So thanks everybody for coming out to pitch day for 100K. It's always a great day to pitch. Today we're going to hear from Chris and Heather from Endorse Me. They're up first. And then we're going to hear from Deb and her team from SeeMedX. Thanks again for coming out to pitch. And as you guys probably know, on average, we screen 15 or 20 companies for every single one that actually gets to make it today. So congratulations on making it through the gauntlet and getting here today. Startup Envia is Nevada's statewide nonprofit startup accelerator and incubator. We operate 7 free programs for entrepreneurs and 4 for-profit investment funds. Government grants and corporate sponsors support our nonprofit mission. In the short term and over the long term, we're supported by our accelerator companies that pledge a small amount of equity and our investors who donate their investing profits. We run Pitch Day for 100Ks fortnightly on Wednesdays, where companies pitch for the Q&A and for entry into our accelerator program. And that comes with an investment from Fund NV, which is added to by our investor syndicate. And then that's all put into a big pile of money, and that whole thing is matched by Nevada's SSBCI program. Now, since 2021, our funds and our syndicate have completed 30 transactions in 21 companies and have directly invested more than $9.4 million. Partners like GoEd and others have invested alongside us, making the total investment about $30 million. So that's an average of about $500,000 per company, or $1.5 million per company if you're looking at the whole partner ecosystem.
I think we're good. Thank you.
Now our $9.4 million has I don't see, is this camera working? I don't see the camera. Okay, cool. Now that $9.4 million that we've invested is currently worth $27.3 million, which is a pretty good track record of investing. Now for the legal disclaimers. The founders pitching today are pitching for investment from our venture funds and our syndicate, which comply with SEC and Nevada certified investor regulations. We invite the whole community to attend. That's mostly for educational purposes, kind of like Shark Tank, but hopefully a little nicer. Once again, the pitches today are not a general solicitation for investment. So that's the end of the legal disclaimer. Now, our nonprofit work would not be possible without financial help from grants and sponsors. The City of Las Vegas, Clark County, the Governor's Office of Economic Development, the EDA, and the USDA are among them. Thanks again to those organizations for their support. So that's how we roll today. That's exactly what's going to happen. So Deb, come on up. Deb and team, come on up. Are more than one of you guys going to be chatting? Because I'll hand off the microphone.
Yes. Okay.
Okay, so why don't you put that one on?
Okay.
And then one of the other guys are going to have to share because we only have 2 microphones. So either hold it or
Does that work?
turn it on.
Is that at the right place?
Can you hear Deb okay?
I don't know. Can anybody hear? Uh-oh.
Yes, we hear you.
Except for my computer's froze. Okay.
Take it away whenever you're ready.
Okay, yeah, get back to page 1.
Yeah, you're great, but it won't let me back. Okay. I believe I have no idea why it's doing this.
You should be able to use the arrow keys on your computer to go backward.
Picking up 4 slides, it went from 2 to 4.
Oh boy.
And why don't I stop sharing and do it over?
Okay.
I've never had this problem before. Okay. Oh, hang on, it's still not going to pick it up.
It's just like
Well, escape, but it's still not letting me go. Okay, we're just going to do it a little later.
usually folks
Okay.
have trouble. Yes.
I believe, I don't know if everybody can hear me. Hi, my name is Deborah Simpson, and I'm the CEO of SeeMedX, who has all kinds of technical problems here, but I think we're all set now. I'd like to introduce Dr. Marco Griffa. He's a PhD in biomedical engineering and an MD. And of course, Mike, who's been a CEO many times and is responsible for the commercialization of our product. Just to get you all excited, we filed for our FDA last month, okay? It's an FDA special, okay? And we expect to get it back in 30 days. However, it's the FDA government, so we don't really know. But what we do is we provide a non-invasive hemodynamic solution for heart failure. My father died of heart failure. He had 5 heart attacks. His families, 6 million patients in the US alone, and their families, probably 50 million people are affected by this incredibly horrible disease. As we go into the market, I've had 4 medical device exits and been a part of 2 IPOs. And I believe everyone else here at the team, we've got an incredibly experienced team, and it is a $44 billion annual spend. This is a healthcare crisis. This is not something that we can ignore. I'm going to turn this over to Mark in a second, but this is our solution. The Swan-Ganz catheter is on your left. Swan-Ganz is Dr. Peter Ganz and Dr. Bill Ganz invented this. When I first met him, he did not want to even look at the stuff. He said, too many people are trying to solve this problem. We had tens of millions of dollars invested in this company here in Las Vegas. And we bought the assets, and now we're commercializing it and making it happen. And we replaced this very expensive $50,000 procedure on your left, okay, with a already approved reimbursement code of $100. So we save money, and more important, we save lives, and all our investors will get a huge multiple off of this because it's a worldwide play. With that, Dr. Mark.
Thanks, Debs. Why is this important? Heart failure is the largest chronic patient population in the United States and the Western world, responsible for the largest healthcare cost, the largest number of readmissions, and the largest number of fines. How do we deal with these patients at the moment? We send them home to step on a scale. Some of these patients end up back in the hospital 5, 10, even 15 times in a given calendar year at a cost of between $15,000 and $20,000. That's not good enough, and this patient population is only getting worse. Our hemodynamic monitor uses bio-impedance. We are able to go and inject a small amount of current into the thorax or into the chest, measure the resistance or impedance, and using a proprietary multi-dimensional signal processing algorithm, what we're able to do is pinpoint the opening and the closing of the valves in the heart to be able to give you a non-invasive stroke volume, which is the amount of blood being pumped by the heart. At its core, we have a biomedical technology solution tailored for the world's largest chronic patient population with a predictive index to stop the #1 reason that these patients end up back in the hospital. Perfect. We have multiple patents pending in relation to this technology. We also own all of our own predicate technology. The reason that this is important is that this sets us up for a very successful regulatory strategy with the FDA. We also have a pre-approved CPT reimbursement code, which allows physicians, hospitals, healthcare institutions to actually bill and get reimbursed for the use of the technology. And in addition to that, we have a rollout of a strategic plan over the next 3 to 5 years. It is our intention to do for heart failure what Dexcom did for diabetes as we move both from the hospital into the long-term care facilities and into the very lucrative home healthcare market as well. In addition to that, as part of our 510(k) filing, the FDA has mandated that you must use our electrodes with our technology. What that does is it sets up the very lucrative commercial of the razor blade model within the marketplace as well. I'm going to hand it over to Mike right now to discuss a little bit more about our UI and then our approach to the market.
Yeah, thank you, Mark. Let's see, so I can get on video here. So one of the things that we thought was really important as a go-to-market strategy was our user interface. The user interface had to be simple. It had to be easy to read from across the room because we're actually in a hospital setting. And it had to provide enough notification for people to understand, okay, what is this device telling me is going on with this patient? So what you have in our user interface are 4 quadrants. The top left quadrant is cardiac output, which is at rest. Normally, people are between 5 and 6 liters per minute. Then you have an element of fluid status, which is ZO in the top right quadrant. Ejection fraction is the amount of blood that actually pumps through the valve at each heartbeat. And then you have heart rate. So those are 4 things that anyone that's involved in heart failure will understand. And it allows a doctor to actually make a decision on whether they're going to diurese a patient to eliminate fluid, or if the patient is dehydrated, they might actually put in an IV. So I feel really great about the user interface that we're going to market with. Just so you understand, we're starting in the hospitals here because we need the endorsement of physicians at the hospitals. Eventually, we're going to make it into the home market, but these doctors actually would have to write scripts to provide our device in the home anyway. So we're starting in the hospitals. We have physician advocates throughout the United States right now, and really excited. Once we get our clearance from the FDA, we're going to be piloting in some of the world's best hospitals at this point. Okay.
I'm glad I'm not the only one.
So obviously, this is a huge market opportunity, as Mark and Debs mentioned. The size of the industry is huge. Heart failure is everywhere. Our competitive landscape here, you see our competitors here. Some of them have red, but basically what we're doing here is we're showing that we actually cover the gamut of how our device actually can work on patients versus some of the others that have some weaknesses in some areas. And then in the overall quadrant here, we're in the top right quadrant because we have a measure of predictability, and obviously we're non-invasive, so low cost and low risk. There are some, Debs talked about the reimbursement code. We actually already have a reimbursement guide developed for our hospitals. So when we walk into the hospital, we hand over the reimbursement guide. That allows their billing team to make sure that they're billing against reimbursement. And then from a strategic partnership perspective, we're doing a very large study at the University of Michigan, but we also have some other hospital partners as well that are helping us from a clinical perspective. The revenue and EBITDA from this business is incredible. We have what we call a razor blade approach, where our device actually is on a leasing licensing model. So think of the device as a commercial grade tablet with our circuit board inside of that device. The circuit board is really the intellectual property. So that device actually then is connected via wire to a strip that goes down the front of the patient, connects at the bottom here. The way that it works is the patient can wear this strip for up to 24 hours, or if they're just coming into the ER, let's say for a couple of hours and they need to get treated, that strip will come off in a few hours, and then you hook up the next patient to that device as well. So you could go through 3 or 4 patients a day on any one given device here. So the razor blade is the device is approximately $2,000 per month per device, and then the strips are $35 a piece. When you start to add up how that would work in a hospital setting, it generates revenue very quickly and highly profitable. So our payback on the device itself is about 1.5 months, and then everything else on top of that is profit. The payback on the strip is immediate because it costs the hospital $35. It probably costs us about $5 at the moment. So the strategic use of capital, as you might expect, is all about commercialization. We do have some R&D dollars baked into this as well for our eventual path to the home market, but the majority of this is sales and marketing. And as soon as we get our clearance from the FDA on 510(k), we're going to go CE mark, and then we're going to go rest of world in terms of authorization there. As far as commercialization and rest of world, we're actually going to be targeting strategic partners for commercializing in other parts of the world here, but we actually have a direct sales force plan here in the US, where we're going to have a few direct salespeople spread across the United States with a few other strategic selling partners. Eventually, we might get into working with Cardinal Health and some of the large procurement companies out there, but that's our strategy at the moment. Debs?
think I have two now. Oh no, this is scary.
Well, you're also out of time.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, that's perfect because I was about to just discuss the team and tell you that we've built the most amazing team. We are a remote company. We have a lot of people here in Vegas, but we are all over the entire United States, and we have a person in Germany. So this is not something that is nice to have. This is what a doctor needs to save a life. It's a critical piece of medical information that they need to save lives. So thank you so much.
And it's time to
Thank
go
you
back to
so
Jeff.
We appreciate it and welcome the opportunity to talk. Thank you.
Awesome.
Great.
You can leave that microphone with Andrew if you wouldn't mind, or with me. So thanks very much to both companies for pitching, and to our folks here in the room. Just a few notes as we wrap up. And investors, if you like what you heard at the top of this session, where we've invested $9.4 million and it's now turned into 27.3, and you want to understand how to do that, go to that same website, startupnv.org, and click on the I'm an investor button, and it'll take you through all kinds of ways that you can join the investing funds that are separate from, but kind of alongside of Startup NV. So we operate Fund NV, which is the group that invests in the companies that present here. We operate Angel NV. It's a program that we run once a year that teaches angel investors how, if they've never done it before, how do you do this? How do you find these companies? How do you make sure that these valuations that we've been talking about are the right ones and you can make money at it? And all this language that we're using about safes and preferred rounds and all the rest of that stuff, you can get to learn about all of that. And then we have our 1864 seed fund, which makes the larger investments. Once you're in one of those groups, you're in our syndicate, so you get looks at all of the deals that we look at. So if you're an investor, check it out, ecosystem. And thanks again to the founders who pitched today, all who listened in and asked questions. So thanks everybody for coming out today. Come back again in 2 weeks and you'll hear from 2 additional Nevada-based startups. Until then, take care of yourself. And if you can, someone else too. See you guys in 2 weeks.